Nothing changes instantaneously. In a gradually heating bathtub, you'd be boiled to death before you knew it. Our Father, who art in heaven. Seriously? What the actual fuck?
Gilead doesn't care about children. Gilead cares about power.
Why does healing have to be the only goal? Why can't we be as furious as we feel?
For whatever man sows, so shall he reap.
Welcome to Above the Garage. Hi, friends. Today we have Bradley Whitford, the legend, who plays Commander Lawrence, of course. May he rest in peace. On to chat with us, and we could not have had a funnier or more enjoyable hour. Hope you enjoy as much as we did.
Hi.
Hi, sir.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
We're good. Thank you for making time for this.
Oh, sure.
You're filming. Are you doing Diplomat now?
No, I'm working on a thing called Reminders of Him, a Colleen Hoover thing.
Oh, cool.
I bet you I've read it. They all are a little bit of a blur in my head, but I love her books. They're great.
Yeah. Yeah, she wrote the movie with the problem, right?
Yes.
The big problem? Yeah, the big problem.
Yeah.
Yes. My God, those headlines. I cannot escape those headlines on my phone.
Oh, I'm like, I don't understand it. But I'm like, stop.
I know. Like, how can it be this
stop.
big a deal? Do you see what's happening in the world? Why am I reading 5,000 headlines about this show?
I know.
It's fairly mind-blowing. On the topic of political activism, before I forget, first of all, thank you for all of it.
Yeah.
You're amazing. Very inspirational. It means a lot to everyone.
Definitely.
Oh, God.
And specifically, there is someone in our group from Wisconsin, and she really wanted us to thank you for everything you've done there.
Oh, sure. No, I appreciate it. I wish it had been more effective.
Yes, I do too. But keep it up.
It meant a lot to everybody, though. Yeah.
Yes,
Thank you.
it matters. And it inspires individuals such as myself to go to protests and things, honestly.
For sure.
Yeah, and I do think that I keep saying it's basically what the show is about. It's basically the core of June's heroism is the idea that I always say that despair is a luxury our children can't afford.
Yeah.
Your future cannot afford, and action is the antidote, to despair. And not only in fictional worlds like Handmaid's Tale, but there are a lot of examples in the world, situations that were much more desperate, where hope was the way out and action was the way out.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Cynicism's what they want.
Right.
It's easy to fall into that, though, unfortunately.
Yes. Oh,
so,
yeah,
it's good to be reminded of that.
Yes.
Yeah. And even I think Handmaids has helped this too, seeing that and seeing like June's mom be at protests and thing. I mean, that has actually also encouraged me to go to protests so that my kids see that, so that they just see that you keep getting out there and fighting, even if it's not working the way you want at the time.
Yeah. Political participation is not about, this feels weird, but the success of the political movement under whose boot so many vulnerable people are now was a consistent perseverance through years of what they felt to be an insurmountable thing. We need to learn from them. I always say that,
right?
Like in my, coming out of West Wing, it's a weird perspective to have because I, of course, make my living in the world of arts and culture. And ironically, I think that one of the reasons we're in the tough situation that we're in is that I grew up in a world where democracy was imperfect but inevitable, where a more inclusive world had not been achieved but was expanding.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I had the luxury of thinking that culture is the way you make your moral vision. And it's extremely important. But West Wing won't help you if you have a recurring condition. And, Handmaid's Tale has been a wonderful success. But it won't help you if you're a 13-year-old rape victim
Nope.
in Ohio. So, culture is incredibly important. I'm not diminishing its importance, but we have lacked the follow through.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're kind of, it's cool to be in the culture. It's not cool to be in the State House,
Right.
I don't think it's too critical to say that the cool culture people forgot to participate, in the school boards and all of those things.
Yes, exactly. And it's my fault. I'm just as guilty. I took it all for granted. I did not see that in 10 years this would be coming. And I didn't go to all the little votes and all the, always voted for presidents, try to vote all the time, but it was never the priority it should have been while the other side was out there.
Right, with the think tanks and the judges and yeah.
Yeah. It's very daunting right now, but you just got to get out there.
It is daunting, but again, I do feel I've made a dark joke that, I think we're sort of understandably finding our feet. We are being intentionally blindsided, with what they call flooding the zone and this sort of shitstorm of moral degradation.
Yeah.
But the joke I make is that when I was frustrated with Chuck Schumer, we're like living in the worst Handmaids episode ever, where the girls are getting raped and June's about to be executed, and she puts her head on the block and she goes, "Don't worry, guys. I hear they're really incompetent."
That is dark.
Yeah.
No.
But apt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, on a lighter note, when we interviewed your wife, she brought dogs. So.
Oh,
You're losing.
I'm losing. Angie just turned 3 yesterday. We lost Otis and Izzy.
I know. We had Otis and Izzy.
So sorry.
It was horrible.
I love them.
I know.
Yeah. No, they were there for the whole interview. Yeah. And we were trying very hard to focus on Amy because she's amazing. But so are your dogs.
Amy is amazing.
She is. And you guys, her movie.
Yes. She was at South by.
Just for our listeners, we're talking about For Worse.
For Worse. Written by, directed by, starring Amy Landecker.
Your wonderful wife. Yes.
My wonderful wife. That movie was such a miracle. I was so proud of her, turned on by seeing her, write the part she always wanted. At one point, we had a lot more money to make it. And as happens all the time, I think it was, the strike, the money went away. There was another version with less money, and then something else happened. And then we said, we can do it, for... the only reason I'm not saying the number is that we're selling it. We're not allowed to say
quite all right. Good. Yes.
How incredibly economically we were able to make this.
Which I find I love that.
Oh, yeah.
It's amazing.
When you hear about a small budget and, people managing to come together and make something.
And you'll see this eventually. And it so works. And it's won a couple of audience awards, and, we're in the process of selling it. It's so frustrating now with low budget, indie. Very few people go to indie movies.
Which is partly a distribution issue, I think. Because I live in a small town in South Carolina, and we're always like, where are they? We want to see the indie movies, but they don't come here, unfortunately.
Right. And we all tend to think, well, for me personally, I'll see everything at home. I may go out to see, Oppenheimer and Barbie.
Do a Barbenheimer?
Yeah.
Did you? Did you see them back to back?
No, we almost did, but we saw Oppenheimer first. We're like, let's go home.
Yeah, I know, right?
Got to process for a few days.
You did it in the wrong order, maybe.
But I loved them both. But you young kids, I sound like grandpa, but the experience of seeing rollicking comedies in a theater is just so fun.
Yeah.
And we've already had that experience with this, it's South by, it was just rocking.
Awesome.
It was really fun. So you'll see it eventually.
Yeah, we're dying to see it. I'm glad that you're selling it.
Now, where are you guys?
I'm in Philly, so when I saw it was in New York, I would have come up, but we had visitors from out of town.
I have a lot of family in Philly, and we may try and have a screening there. So
I will be there if you come to Philly. Please do.
Where are you in Philly?
I'm west of the city. I'm in Wayne, Pennsylvania, so 25 minutes west.
I went to Wayne Elementary School.
No fucking way.
What?
Sorry, but for real?
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's fucking wild.
It's crazy.
Wayne Little League.
I might never recover from this. I'm sorry.
Did you grow up there?
No, my husband grew up here in Broomall, so
Oh, okay.
I was 10 years ago. So we missed each other by a bit, but holy shit.
Yeah, a couple of decades.
That's
Yeah.
wild. Wayne Little League.
Yeah, the Paoli local.
Yeah, no, we do. It's DSLL now, I think. Devon Stratford Little League. But anyway, um, while you're making me think of Philly and sports, my son wanted me to ask you a question, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
What's the deal with the Packers trying to mess with our tush push?
To mess with who?
Your Packers are trying to ban the tush push, which is the Eagles' like favorite play in football.
Uh,
It doesn't sound like you were involved in that decision, so I think you might
I
be
was
clear.
not consulted.
Wasn't on the board for that.
In general, I'm all for a tush push.
That's what I assumed.
Yeah, are the Packers leading this?
Yeah, they are. They're not very good at the tush push, I guess. So
Right. Well, I'm just glad they got rid of Aaron Rodgers.
yeah, yes.
Before we get into Handmaids, I have a very, very random question for you.
Yeah.
So I'm a huge fan of the X-Files, like
Yes.
#1 show of all time kind of fan.
Got it.
And of course, you were in season 2 in the episode called Firewalker.
Correct. Yeah, that was when the show was like new and big and
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. So I saw it for the first time when I was like 14, 15 years old. And now going back to it as an adult, I'm seeing all these guest stars and just being like, what? They were in that? Like
Yeah.
Jack Black, Seth Green, you, of course.
Oh, wow.
What was it like? What was that experience like filming that show?
It was really fun. I remember Duchovny was really nice, just kind of chill and smart and
That tracks.
yeah, laconic. Laconic means you don't talk much, right? Yeah.
I think so. I looked that word up recently.
Kind of like broody and mysterious. That's how I think about
Yeah, yeah. I just remember it was like, wow, this is I've worked on a couple of shows that were like, I worked on ER,
Yeah.
when these shows were like huge and there weren't that many of them.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really fun. I was all burned up, right?
Yeah, you had very cool makeup in that episode.
Yeah.
You were definitely bringing Bruce Willis and Die Hard vibes to the table there.
Okay.
You had like the wife beater, like the sweaty look.
Oh, yeah.
You're in a volcano.
I mean, I was like some screwed up scientist, right?
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. It was great revisiting that. So thank you for that.
I do want to get to Handmaids, but I did have one last off-topic question for you now that you brought that up.
Yeah.
Did you and Josh bond over starring in 90s cult babysitter movies from my youth?
Oh, yeah.
Adventures in Babysitting and Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead.
Adventures in Babysitting. I'm the jerk.
He taught me who not to date. Yeah.
Yes.
It was good. It was a useful lesson.
Yeah, Josh and I bonded over the, been around forever,
Acting forever, yes.
bitter journeyman, lucky people who complain. Yeah. Yeah, we bonded on that. By the way, I thought he nailed this.
Oh,
Yes.
I mean, it goes to that thing about the show, somehow retaining redemption in people who should be unforgivable. I think of how the writing does this. I think of how June blows on the spark of decency in so many characters in this sort of amazing way. And he really came into this and was always fighting in performance and in ideas with the writers to keep the sort of mustache twirl out of it, which when you're playing someone like that may seem obvious, but it's a very difficult, needle to thread.
Yeah.
I just thought he did that perfectly, because if he is too dismissible, Serena looks like an idiot.
Right.
And I just thought he nailed that.
Yeah.
We say that many times in our discussions, that his the unique way that he plays it with like such nuance. And there have been so many commanders before him, and they've all done it so well in different ways. But I think he was just brilliant in his like creepy quietness, but not the outright violent. And then it surprises you when he's outright violent,
Yeah.
Yeah, I was amazed by his performance.
Yeah.
And he definitely brought a new take to the table on how to play that kind of character, like how to play a commander.
Yeah, and even in a different character who didn't like have that. I thought Tim was.
Oh yeah.
Simons was a blast. It was really sweet. There's no show I love more than Veep.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
love it.
There is no pyrotechnical, scatological virtuoso like Tim Simons
Yeah.
in that show.
Yeah.
And it was I was just thrilled he was there. It's an interesting thing too, because Lizzie loves comedians and knows that comedians are truthful comedians are, I think, often the most extraordinary actors.
Yeah.
And it was funny because Tim came in and it was the first day and they were doing the sword thing on me or something. And
Oh yeah.
The knighting, as we call it.
yeah.
Sir Lawrence.
Yeah, and he was very sweet. He was, because he's like, I'm just like, it's got such an iconic, kind of tone, and are you supposed to play the tone? And I was like, no, don't play the tone. You were hired, and I really think Josh intuitively did it, in the same way. You're hired here to play the truth the way you play the truth.
Mm.
And you get into trouble in the show when people come in and are playing some theoretical idea of what the style of it is.
Yeah.
We've debated that Bell might be the worst commander in Gilead.
He's pretty bad.
He's pretty awful, yeah. Bottom 5, I'd say, yeah.
He's pretty bad, but he's enjoying it.
He is enjoying it.
Unfortunately.
It's very interesting. I don't know. Did you listen to Margaret Atwood's Ezra Klein interview?
I do not think I did.
I strongly, strongly recommend it as citizens. But one of the things she talks about, and I kept thinking about this because I originally heard the podcast was just reissued, but it came out, I think, in 20. And she said one of the advantages that the right has in the country now that the left does not have is, she talks about this. She said, it's fun. They're having fun.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
It's fun to hate without reservation. It's disgusting,
Right.
but it's fun to demonize people and not apologize for it.
Mm.
Yeah.
And it's a real political, advantage. I always thought of that when I was doing scenes when I got to be with Tim, because I thought it was bringing this necessary element in.
Right. It is an advantage. Not having morals to guardrail and stop you from certain behaviors is a massive advantage. And it's hard, I think, to figure out how to deal with that for the left at this point, obviously.
Yes.
Well, we did see the last episode of Handmaids, and I'm sorry you died.
Yes.
But you were amazing.
You were incredible.
You were probably our favorite part of the whole season.
Yes, you were.
And Janine, you and Charlotte, you and Naomi, everything across the board. Just amazing performance.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was really sad, those last couple of scenes. I mean, the last two, Lizzie's directing, and it was, going up the steps.
The hand on the heart.
Yeah.
Jesus. I can't.
That killed us.
Was that your choice to add that, or was that something they told you?
No, in the script, it was a salute.
Oh, it was so much better the way you did it. So much better.
So much better.
I'm so glad. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Good choice. Yeah, that was perfect. Perfect gesture.
It's a gesture that people do. And I realized later there was a friend's little brother in my life died in an accident. And I had realized I didn't intend to do that, but it was kind of, I knew I didn't want to go, see ya.
Right.
Yeah.
We're so glad you didn't too, because I cried when you put your hand to your heart. It was so sad.
Oh, good. And then it's a loaded moment in the plane. And usually you can, when you're acting and something is distracting you, which is usually for me, insecurity or fear, there's usually a trick where you can judo it into the scene, find a version of exactly what is happening to you in the performance of it that can sort of open up the vein of the scene for you. It's just sort of a trick I use to deal with the sort of blindness of acting. But knowing it was the end, it was 2 different nights, but just knowing that this experience with Lizzie, who means a lot to me in terms of almost a parental kind of pride that I have about her. And then I've talked a little bit about, Lizzie's the opposite of what you would conventionally call a method actor. Lizzie is not precious. Lizzie has extraordinary access emotionally, and we both sort of bond on the idea. I think she put it once, the idea of taking the work seriously without taking yourself seriously doing the work.
Mm-hmm.
Lizzie doesn't need a lot of quiet on the set to get to these extraordinary places of pain. Often I've been watching her, a scene will start, she will immediately emotionally fill, and you'll have to go, Lizzie, take your,
It's too soon, Brad.
Headphones out. Take your headphones out.
AirPod.
take your earphone out. Did you guys see that in the poster?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I thought it was pretty ballsy of you to mention it at Paley LA.
We're all human beings. I kind of love pointing out our flaws, to be honest. That I respect it.
Oh, I love it. It's so funny.
Yeah.
I love it. But yeah, I think I said this at the Paley thing, is that it is an unconscious act of method acting, the way that the person playing June has become the emotional, not just an actor playing this part, but has taken agency of her life, is not just, I don't mean the victim, but not at the mercy of scripts and everything, but is really driving this experience.
Yeah.
Has just been an amazing thing to watch. So when I go to shoot these things, I was thinking, oh, you're going to get overwhelmed with that, just use it. But I still found it distracting just because it was just heartbreaking to me that I love Max is the sweetest soul. And, just knowing it was distracting just because I knew that this was exactly what I could judo into it, but I was still just upset about the showing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, to be fair, we always knew Lawrence was going to die somehow. That was my theory.
We assumed he would go out in a sacrificial way, which is great. Yeah.
We assumed, yeah.
Strong assumption. Yeah.
Yes. Did you know that yourself? How did you react?
I was freaking out at the end of last year.
Yes. We all were.
It was tricky because I was like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Am I
Cartoon villain?
right? We need a villain. Should probably be a male. Obviously, there is the possibility of redemption of some kind with this guy.
Yeah.
But I was worried that I was doing a version of what I felt Lawrence had gone through before you met me.
Yeah.
Where my big brain obliterated my humanity and I became ambitious.
Yeah, that's how it felt. Exactly.
And I was worried about where that was going to go. And I asked, really worried about it.
We appreciate you caring.
The good news and the bad news for the writers is when actors care. But I'm like,
yeah.
I really fucking care here. I reached out to this, disobedient handmaid. I said, I want her. I want her. I put myself out on a limb multiple times.
Yes.
On her behalf. I loved the counter argument that I was having with June, which was, I thought like an interesting, not necessarily what I believed, but an argument I could understand, which had something to do with, you're being naive.
Right.
Do you see the trail of blood behind you? You can't just chuck a bunch of grenades and think we're going to show up on I said to Lizzie, like a lesbian commune in Vermont. That's not how this happens. Look at the world. We're falling to fascism. And I was making this argument about reform, saying, let me, in this world as it is, take us from North Korea to China. It's not perfect, but let's get people off the wall. Let's, stop the raping.
Right.
That was a good argument to have.
Mm-hmm.
But I was worried about it. So much so that I said, I got to talk to Bruce and I got to talk to Eric and Yalin. And I went to meet them. I don't think they'd started writing scripts yet, but they, opened the writer's room. This was a long time ago.
Yeah, a lot of things happened.
But I needed to know. And they said, we can tell you where this ends up. And I said, please tell me. And they told me. And I was like, perfect. Go write whatever.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I knew it was coming. There was a moment that I kind of stuttered, but then I sort of thought it was interesting, when I'm looking through the wall and I'm realizing that all the other commanders are going to betray me.
Mm.
At the Jezebel's room. Yeah.
Yeah. And when I first read it, I'm like, did I not see that coming? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I talked a little with Lizzie about it, and very quickly I sort of answered my own question. I sort of realized that it was interesting that my ego had once again sort of allowed me to get sucked
Right.
into this
Comfort zone that wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the show does a good job of that, of still honoring the original character and showing that like push and pull, I think.
Yeah.
I think Bradley does a good job with that.
Yes.
That's true.
Yeah.
It was funny when Margaret Atwood wrote the Testaments, I interviewed her.
Oh,
Have you ever interviewed her?
No, we have not.
we would love to, though.
Yeah.
Scary.
Yeah. I think she might be too smart for it.
It was a long time ago. It was after the first or second year that I had done or something. And I was just at the beginning to interview her about the Testaments. And I said, I feel a little self-conscious because I'm in the show that's based on your book, but it's a character that you didn't create.
Yeah.
Right.
And she said, yeah, I don't understand why they haven't killed you yet.
I mean, that's got to make you feel good.
Yeah.
I was very worried after season 5, especially, and reading some of your interviews as well. I could tell that, like, I was reading between the lines of you not being very happy with possibly how Lawrence's story was going. So I'm very happy.
Oh, really? Was I was it bleeding out?
Maybe nervous. Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
It was, I always say, and I've said this to Bruce and I've said this to, and it was always going to go, I think it was never going to go the direction I was worried it would go.
Yeah.
Mm.
Although it did kind of go that way for a different character this season. So we thought maybe they just switched it over to him.
For
Nick.
Yeah, I haven't thought of it like that. But yeah, there was just this weird moment of like, I always say that showrunners, if you're lucky enough to have a cast like this,
Yeah, incredible ensemble.
it's incredible. I mean, it really is.
I pity the scheduler.
Well, Kim Todd was the producer who is incredible at genuinely, and when I was directing, you get a sense of how complicated it is and of how incredibly hard they do to make it work.
Mm-hmm.
If you have really good actors, it's going to be hard to schedule them,
Yeah.
and they know that. But the problem for writers is if you have a bunch of really smart, committed actors, by the 4th or 5th season, you're going to get one of two responses when the script comes out. One will be, I'm doing the same thing I do all the time. I'm repeating it,
Mm-hmm.
which is, my alarm going off. Like, I've already done this.
Right.
He's a different person now.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, they're just screwed either way. Or the actors are inclined to say, I would never do that. Have you not watched it?
Yeah.
Like, are you not? And we're all, hypersensitive, hyper dramatic, paid to overreact. It doesn't help in marital therapy, and it doesn't help, when the actors are talking to the writers, but they have to endure it. And I was worried about it. It turned out they'd never been thinking
what you feared. Yeah.
That's interesting. I'm glad.
They had never been thinking what I feared.
Kim really lost a lot of sleep after season 5 over the direction of Commander Lawrence. So
I did.
We're very happy for her now.
Yes. Yeah. No, I went over and like before I sat down, they were like, this is how it ends. And I was like, oh God.
Perfect.
Thank God.
Carry on.
Thank God. Yeah.
It was horrible pressure. I'm like trying to end something like this because it's brutal.
Yeah.
You were fantastic in the ending.
Yeah, you were. Yeah.
Best part for sure.
I've got to say, the way that you've played Lawrence since the beginning has just been amazing. And I don't know if he was supposed to be so funny or if you brought that to him, but it was a real levity added to the show that I think that was really needed,
Yes.
And I've got to say, definitely one of my favorite characters ever. And I've got to say, it's probably because of how you have played him.
Oh, thank you.
It's been amazing.
For sure.
Honestly, it was like there were some things about this role that were, it always sounds pretentious when you talk about acting, but I would say talking about acting is like dancing about architecture. Like you can do it all day long. But I really felt it right before this when I was doing Get Out.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing.
Which I think is how I got this part. I think Bruce had seen that. And it was right before that. But there's something very obvious in that thing, which is that I was able to sort of really embrace and sort of expand with Lawrence of, it's very simple. There's more than one thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
Always. And just doing that and Get Out and sort of seeing, that's obviously always going on in that movie. And then with this guy, instead of sort of narrowing down as a young actor, you kind of think of playing a character like narrowing the aperture, like sculpting down and excluding things to find what it is.
Right.
And there was always with this guy a kind of free range. He was always in play. It wasn't static.
Yeah.
And instead of narrowing it down, I felt like I could open it up.
Yeah.
So it was such a fun part. It is really sad when these things end. It's just like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Because nobody, most things don't work.
Right.
Yeah.
And again, the ensemble, like there's rarely any other cast of that caliber that you see in one show.
Oh, yeah. And when I got to direct, I mean, you're just so like, holy God, and Yvonne, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Amazing.
Amazing.
I love the little scenes between you and Yvonne this season, and especially when she asks you to pray.
God, you have all the best scenes, which is
Yeah.
obviously a you thing and not a coincidence. Like every combination of characters, it's you and them.
Yeah.
Amy really thought that Yvonne and I had chemistry and that
Yeah, definitely.
that we should have a mistaken evening.
I mean, she proposed to you. You could have had a lot of mistaken evenings.
Yeah, you could have.
That was hilarious too.
And wasn't ever a blast?
Yes, she's
So
so funny. She had a great first husband,
I know. I felt so bad when I read that script.
Oh no.
The one where he dies, where Putnam dies.
Yeah.
It's like, it's great for the character, deserved it, but horrible that we have to lose.
Yeah.
Wonderful Stephen Kunkin.
He's so lovely.
Yeah.
I think he texted me something, but I sent him this picture. Can you see it?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
I think you must have posted it somewhere, maybe
Yeah.
back on when we were all on Twitter eons ago.
Oh, yeah.
That was so funny.
Back when Twitter was Twitter.
Oh, my God. It's terrible. I still go on there sometimes, but it's...
No, I was wondering if you did. You were the best part of Twitter,
Yes, you
but
are.
we still had to leave eventually.
Yeah.
It's, fucking Musk.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very weird... It's so difficult to know how to, remain engaged and not get overwhelmed.
Yeah. It's a tough balance for sure.
Yeah.
And some measure of mental health through all this. But you get to relax by watching The Handmaid's Tale and laugh.
Oh, absolutely. So much laughter.
We got to laugh. Now you're gone.
It's been a very peaceful, spa-like experience for us, yeah.
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 Kimberly, where are you?
I'm in Perth, Australia.
Oh, wow. What time is it?
Yeah. It is
6
a.m.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, she wakes up early for you.
Yeah.
Only for you.
I only wake up this early for you, sir. That's it.
That's how much she loves you.
No one else.
Oh, my God.
Usually she wakes up at like noon, so please be flattered.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I need a passport, maybe.
You don't have a passport?
No, I need an Australian one.
Oh,
Maybe.
Okay.
we all need one, yeah.
I have all the information on this, Bradley. I
Yeah.
can tell you exactly how much a passport for each nation will cost you. I looked into it in great detail in November.
You can buy them? I didn't know that.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Malta's your best bet if you have $1 million.
If Amy's okay with it, I'll let you guys stay together, but you can totally get married to me and then we can just sort this out.
And then I'll talk to Amy.
Yeah, definitely. Bring your dogs too. I've got 2 dogs. They can all hang out.
Be friends.
It'll be amazing. Yeah, it's so weird too. Like this crew who we just adore, like watching Trump kiss the ass of, the people who are funding Hamas and
Jesus
like,
somehow it manages to still shock me, and I don't know how.
Same. Yeah.
and trash Canada. I mean, my God.
Canada. I don't know. I've been doing a lot of traveling lately just to get the fuck out of here. And maybe, we won't be able to at some point. But I feel guilty, like just being an American in these other places now. I hate it. I hate how embarrassed I am. I hate how mortifying it is to be part of something that you used to be so proud of.
No, it's really, really, really damaging in ways. I mean, it's not a political. Like it makes no. Somebody was saying that aside from the NBA, if there's anything America is admired more unabashedly for, it's higher education. It is, if you can, you try to get a degree from not even where I went to Wesleyan or the University of Wisconsin, but an American diploma was
Right.
and why would you come here now?
Yeah.
I mean, you might get thrown in a camp.
Right.
Right.
Wow, we have foreign friends that are in like PhD programs here, and they're too scared to stay.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, it's terrifying for people. And we talked to Ann Dowd about the Harvard situation. I mean, what is education going to be here in a few years? What kind of history is going to be taught, in the lower schools, not to mention the upper education?
Yeah, I talked to somebody, who's in local government in Wisconsin, and there's a small amount of federal money in like a city council, and you have to sign a pledge. And basically an anti-DEI pledge. And boy, I've said this publicly, but it really fucking pisses me off that people in power, it's always very confusing to me who I work for. I guess I work for Disney, but MGM is owned by Bezos.
Yeah.
That was extremely confusing because we signed NDAs obviously for the episodes we saw, and I was like, what is happening? Who's in charge of this?
Yeah. MGM. Hello.
So MGM is owned by Amazon.
Oh,
Didn't realize that.
That's depressing. I didn't either.
That is depressing.
And I've said this before publicly, so I'm not afraid to say it now. I met Amy doing Transparent, and
Right.
Bezos, right?
Bezos was around, and we sat next to him and his mom at the Emmys, and he would talk about a piece of art. It's so important. More than that, we're supporting this vulnerable community. And then I worked on The Post, and he had just bought The Washington Post, and it's a movie about the importance of freedom of the press. And he's kissing everybody's ass and talking about, how important that is. And what was it, yesterday or something? There was some opinion, and then he says the opinion page.
Oh, fuck. That, yeah.
You know what's so funny? I mean, this is totally off topic, but I mean, right-wing economic theory is all based on this Orwellian insane notion that the rich are victims.
yeah.
That's what it's all based on. They're victims.
Unbelievable.
They are overtaxed. And people write these opinions, attacking, these monopolies. It's fucking insane.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's insane.
God, you have to laugh because it's so fucking insane.
Yeah.
You don't even have the same foundation to have a discussion with these people, and that's what I find so hard.
Yeah. No, it's very, very, very confusing.
Yeah.
I try and follow American politics, but it's very difficult.
It's a clusterfuck, so good luck to you.
No, I just wait until I hear, like, it's funny because when we're on Twitter, I was like, all I know from American politics is what Bradley posts on here.
Which is a good source. That's a great source. Yeah.
It is. But now she's lost all contact.
Yeah, completely non-biased.
Well, I also feel like we have to hear from you about the Nick and Lawrence relationship, because that has been a very interesting thing for us to talk about on this podcast.
We would always just joke on set that it was a highly charged erotic relationship.
That's what we liked about it.
Yeah.
We have said that at least if Nick and June can't be together, there's always Lawrence. There's always Lawrence and Nick. There's always the
Which didn't
bromance.
really work out, but I guess it sort of
It
did.
didn't work out. No, it's unfortunate.
I
But
don't know.
Yeah, I felt bad on a plane, you know.
Yeah.
did you see that coming? The turn on Nick's character? Did you know that was going to happen?
I wasn't totally stunned. I always felt from Lawrence's point of view, he had there was a parental thing, but I always felt there was a kind of condescension from Lawrence
Yeah.
Yep.
towards him. He used him in a lot of sort of mercenary ways. He's just so damn pretty, though.
That's not why people love him.
No, that's not.
That is not why people love him. Now we're annoyed because in episode 7, they just kept saying that. And I'm like, I feel personally offended because we like the character for other reasons. I'm not offended by you, Bradley, but I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
It's also true, but it's a separate component of this.
It is a separate
No,
issue.
there's like a gentleness and a sweetness to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's kind. And
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot more. He's selfless. He's kind. A million different things that are not represented often in television by men. And it was refreshing to see. So
Yeah.
the turn was unfortunate.
And look where it got him.
Yeah,
Didn't get it very far. No.
that's right. That'll teach him. I suspect that Max is not as outspoken about his character as you are also, which probably affects the situation. Not that I blame it on him whatsoever.
Although, yeah, now knowing that, Bradley, you said that they were planning on going this way with Lawrence anyway, and we shouldn't have been worried. Like, I'm wondering now, they had the same with Nick, you know? They had known all along that this is where they were going for him.
I think they failed to do it is the problem. They failed to execute what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
I didn't talk, with him. I mean, I'm not lying. I would lie, but I'm not.
I know. So we trust you then.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why. When the scripts finally came out, I knew what happened to me. I didn't know what happened to him.
Yeah, I know the last couple were redacted and protected heavily. Probably not from people like you.
Right.
But yeah.
No, we were shooting the wedding reception, and Lizzie said, "Do you want to read it?" And she gave me her copy.
Nice.
All I've seen is the first episode.
Oh, wow.
Will you watch the rest, or are you like Ann Dowd? She doesn't watch.
I want to. It's always interesting to me that you spend so much time fretting about something, and then
Yeah.
I got used to really not watching on West Wing because it was just, it's neurotic.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Change it?
Right. That makes sense. Yeah. I think that's what she said. That's why she doesn't watch too. She said she just criticizes her performance. And
Yeah.
why? What's the purpose of that?
Yeah, she really doesn't watch.
Yeah.
I can understand the experience for somebody who's acting in a show kind of ending with the end of your job, right? Like that's a nice memory probably for you to have, being done with the show at that point where you were surrounded by the people you'd worked with and you're all friends, and it's like a nice send off to it versus coming back to it months later and criticizing something that you did before, or thinking about it, overthinking it, I guess, because you were great. So there's nothing to criticize, but
Okay. That's all I need to hear.
Cool.
The doing of it, I mean, if you're lucky enough to do it as much as I have gotten to do it, it's a cliche, but it really is. That's where the joy is.
Right.
And it's a very different thing from, I got in trouble on Studio 60 because I directed what turned out to be the final episode. And
It probably wasn't your fault.
yeah, I killed it. And I was doing prep for it. And Tommy Schlamme said, as we were doing prep, he's like, did you watch the show? And I was like, no, but I know how you do it.
Right.
But it's always an odd experience to watch. But I will watch this. I will.
Yeah.
Does Amy report back with how she feels like the show is going, or like what she's happy with, or she's like, oh my God, this happened? Ah.
She's waiting for me. She wants to watch together.
Oh, yeah, that's nice.
Like just a couple of nights ago, she's like, we need to watch.
We were hoping she would be in this season, but maybe in the Testaments.
Yeah, she was just up there.
Ooh, very nice.
Cool.
Yeah.
You and the little girl were like just adorable in the chess scene and all of that. Does she just like hit it off with you because your beard makes you look like Santa, or?
Uh, she, that's what Amy says when we're in bed. You can use that.
Good.
She doesn't like the long. She's always like, cut your hair, cut your beard. Like she was very happy the show was over, so I
Keep it neat.
yeah. Says when you have gray,
When was the last time you didn't have it?
I think he just means like trim it, right? Like trim it down.
Oh, trim it.
it got really long. I shot this thing in Budapest this summer, and it was really long.
Okay.
And she's like,
She doesn't mind it short. I gotcha.
yeah. But you look like Einstein. No, but that yeah, the girl's fun. And I always found Lawrence, I always had in the back of my head that part of the connection and the trauma and the original sin of Lawrence maybe came out of a lost stillborn child with Eleanor.
Yeah.
That fits. Yeah.
I always felt like he in spite of himself. Yeah.
When I said I love you to the little girl,
Oh,
it
yeah.
just broke my heart. I was like, oh.
Somebody came up to me on the street and said that I just want you to know I use one of your lines all the time. And I was like, what line? And when she comes in with a paper and I go,
Oh, yeah. I was about to say, is it this one? Yeah.
is it sticky? Is that it?
Yeah. Yeah.
I relate to that on like a visceral level, like so deep. Yeah.
It's why she doesn't have kids.
It is probably top 5 reasons for me.
Yeah.
Everything is
Top
sticky.
5. Top 5.
Yeah.
Everything is sticky.
Well, speaking of lines, do you have a favorite Lawrence line that you've delivered over the show that you remember?
Yeah, and it was Yellen acknowledges this was my pitch, but do you have an irony deficiency?
Irony
Yes.
deficiency is so good.
That was wonderful. Yeah.
And perfectly used, like the timing of it with Serena, right, in the jail. It was so good.
Yeah.
My favorites are always when someone's like, "Oh, praise be," and you're just like, "Yeah, whatever." Like,
Yeah.
The no doubt. I think you respond with no doubt.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt.
Yeah, no doubt.
No
Yeah.
doubt. That's a steal from Amy, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh,
Amazing.
Love it.
When we first got together, it was just this verbal tick of hers.
Like no worries, no doubt.
Yeah.
People say things a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'd be like, did you like the movie? No doubt.
That's kind of great. I'm gonna start doing that.
And I would just go, no doubt. You want to get dinner? No doubt.
So that was an improv from you, or you added that?
No doubt was, yes.
Perfect.
Oh, I
that's
love
great.
that.
That's straight from the marital bed.
Ooh,
You can let her know we're gonna take that.
Yeah.
We're gonna revisit
we're
this.
getting a lot of insight into your bedroom antics today.
Yeah.
Very lovely.
No doubt, Santa.
Can I ask a question that's gonna seem like it's related to this, but it's not?
Yeah.
Do you have a flexibility training plan?
Oh,
No, I am just like, it's bizarre.
it is bizarre, but it's impressive.
How are you so bendy?
It's just natural. You just came with it. You were born with that.
Yeah, I'm avoiding the came with it joke.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it is genetic, but then it's not a good idea to be that, sort of loose for your joints.
No?
Like my shoulders
Surprising.
yeah,
Your shoulders are what?
like shot.
Oh, okay.
They used to be really loose, but shoulders are weird. And what my doctor said, congratulations, you've outlived your shoulders, which was
To be fair, my dad's on his 5th shoulder, so
Oh
it's okay. You'll be fine.
my gosh, really?
Oh, really? He had a replacement?
3rd replacement. 2 replacements, and then he had to replace one that he replaced. So
Oh,
lots of shoulders.
Is he a hatchet thrower? I mean, what is he?
He might be in his spare time. Yeah. No, he doesn't do. He reads all the time. I don't know how he's managed.
Well, that's what's upsetting to me is my shoulders are gone and my knee is a little wonky. And I'm like, if I was a hockey player, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I wear makeup, I like gesture. But no, it's genetic. My grandmother was extremely loose.
Oh, that's good to know. Thank you.
That's not something most people say.
Thank you very much.
He phrased that in a particular way.
Yeah. My dad, his party trick was to put his leg around his neck.
Oh
Oh,
wow. So
yeah.
it is genetic. That's
Yeah.
crazy. Is it
Yeah.
something, is there like a word for it? Or is it like extra bendy, or like what's the technical term?
Double jointed is a thing.
Oh,
My
yeah.
elbow does weird things.
Like they worried that there's a disease.
Was it Elvis Danlos? Dan?
Yeah. That they were, worried about. But I don't have that. I'm just like
That's good.
just a party trick.
Congratulations, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't practice, you're not like, there's no end goal. It's just like part of who you are that you can do that.
End goal. Lol.
I mean, like my goal is I want to be able to do a split. I took ballet. I used to be able to do it. Now I'm old and I can't. So yeah, I look at you and I'm like, man, I got to practice.
You'll discover this. The older you get, all physical activity and exercise, it's all defense. Like there's no offense.
It's just physical therapy and
Yeah, it's not joy. It's not freedom. It's just defense.
Trying
It's
to
like,
fight back.
I am training so I don't shatter my hip by falling over when I'm 89. That's the goal.
Sure. Okay.
that's a worthy goal.
Yeah.
Good goal.
I just think you should do some YouTube yoga for all of us is what I'm trying to get at, I guess, so we can follow along.
Yeah.
Well, I did do yoga. I've done a lot of yoga, but now I do less yoga and more Pilates.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, lovely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good.
She'll take your Pilates class too.
Yeah.
I'll do it. Got it.
Do it.
When the work dries up, Bradley,
Yeah, be a Pilates
you
instructor.
can start this YouTube channel,
Yeah. When the career is over.
which I doubt it will be because
Never, ever.
Never.
You're amazing. You're amazing.
Well, thank you.
We love you and appreciate everything you've done.
Yes.
And
Thank
yeah.
you
Yes.
guys for caring, and we love you.
Thank
Aw.
you so much.
I put my hand to my heart. Thank you.
Oh yes.
Oh, yes. We can all do it together.
Blessed be the fruit.
May the Lord open.
No doubt.
doubt.
No
No
doubt.
doubt. No doubt.
No doubt.
That's the correct answer. You guys are right.
No doubt.
I fumbled it.
For real, I hope you bring For Worse to Philly. I will definitely be there. So
Okay. You'll see.
I'll be on the lookout.
Thanks for getting up, Kimberly. See ya.
Bye, Bradley.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.